Hi guys, it's Ray here from City Fan TV, and I'm joined today by Sam Suarez. Now I've got to say, Sam, he was born half a mile from Porto Stadium. So you can have a guess at who he supports, and he's got the shirt on there. He's representing. How you doing, Sam?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. Obviously, guys, we're here to preview the upcoming mouth-watering game. It is first game of the Champions League group stage between Man City and Porto. And Sam is obviously going to help us do that. I'm going to start off, Sam, by talking about what's happened in the summer financially with Porto. And obviously, you've lost a few decent players. I mean, you lost Telles and you lost Fabio Silva, amongst others. Can you tell me what's going on financially with Porto right now, and why you had to sell these players and how good they are?
Cool. Well, so right now Porto is under financial fair play from UEFA. So with the pandemic, we're kind of stuck in a bit of a hard place. So we had to start looking at how to sell our players. The season before, we had actually lost a few players on free transfers, which was a bit of a blow to the fans. And this season, we kind of had to go back and start trying to generate that money again. So players like Fabio Silva going to Wolves, that wasn't something that the fans really wanted, but it was something that had to happen. And getting 40 million in for him was really good. I mean, it was a great deal for Porto.
Crazy money, that.
Yeah. I mean, he's really good. He's not playing that many matches for us, but you could tell like he was in Porto's team that won the Champions League, the Youth Champions League. So a lot of that kind of era are now starting to be sold and going into different places. With Wolves being one of them. I mean, I've just seen Wolves' new kit, and they might as well just put the Portugal badge on it. It's an interesting place. So we had to like start selling players like this. So we've got Alex Telles going to your Manchester neighbours. We've got Danilo Pereira. He's our captain. He's gone to Paris Saint-Germain. And yeah, amongst a few others, so Tiquinho Suarez, he's gone to China. So you can tell like a lot of these are big money deals because we need to generate that revenue and bring it in to start getting leveled with what UEFA wants us to do, which is not fair, I don't think.
Yeah,
but that's another story.
I've got to just throw in here that Sam has lived in Leeds and he hates Man United, so he's already a good friend of ours straight away from that point alone. But are you gonna miss these players? I mean, do you think it's gonna affect you in the league this season?
Yeah. So far in the season, so we're 4 games in, 5 points behind the leaders. We haven't won the past 2 matches. We actually lost at home, which is something that doesn't really happen. And it was quite shocking. It could have been more. It could have been a 4-5-2 loss.
Was that Boavista?
Maritimo.
Oh, Maritimo. Okay.
Yeah. So that was a bit of a shock. I was not in a good mood straight after that match. So that was a bit of a shock. And then at the weekend, once again, like with Sporting, we were quite intense. We were attacking, and we had lots of good opportunities. But we shouldn't have won that match. I mean, there is a contest. You can contest the penalty right at the end of the first half, where one of the Porto's players probably should have been sent off, but VAR did its thing. So not gonna question that one. But we defensively we just haven't been great. I think we're still getting adapting to all the changes, and our midfield is still trying to slot into place. I mean, we've got Zaidu. He's just joined as he's 23 Nigerian left back, and he's actually played against Algeria recently, and Mahrez didn't go past him at all. He made the match really tough for him. So that's quite good to see. But we have been a bit inconsistent in our defense, and I think it's all the adaptations of everything that's going on, but also the fact that our left back, our full backs, have been playing too close to the centre backs. So the past few matches, we have actually seen teams have just gone right down the side and crossing it in or getting their chances that way. So we have a lot of changes going on that we need to get settled into, because otherwise we have at least a month or two that could be very, very tough for us.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at the bare stats, it's like you played for 1-2, drawn 1, lost 1. You scored 12 goals, which is not bad for 4 games. That was that Boavista game. I knew you played them. You beat them 5-0 at their place. But you've let in 6 goals. And obviously you described that teams coming down the side, but 6 goals in 4 games, you'd think that's a bit too many.
Yeah, it's quite shocking, because normally we have like some of the best defenses, not just in Portugal, but in Europe. We're quite solid at the back, but there's just something not quite working at the moment, and we need to get that right. And I think with Tellez going across the city, I don't like saying the name. So with Tellez gone, that's a big gap for us, and big shoes to fill for Zaidu especially.
Yeah.
So let's see. He needs a few games to settle in. I mean, his first full match was on Saturday, and I think it was quite positive. But he just needs to get used to it.
He needs time now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, let's move on to the Champions League then. So this group, what are your expectations from this Champions League group? Do you think you can get through? That's the first question.
So I think when you look at the group, I think it's probably one of the toughest groups around, especially for Porto, because everyone's quite level. However, we tend to do well in groups that seem to be a bit tougher. So I think it's going to be between us and Marseille. I'm actually looking forward to the matches with Marseille because of Villas-Boas. I love the guy. He's loved the Porto. He will come back one day. And so I think those matches are going to be quite fun, and they're going to be the decisive ones for us. So I think we're just going to make it to the last 16. I think we're going to finish second after Man City. I think Man City is going to have maybe 1 or 2 upsets in the group. I don't know. This group's just going to be tricky. I think the trips to Olympiacos and stuff can be. You just never know. So sometimes it's just the wrong day. But I think we're going to go to the last 16. And if the wind blows in the right direction, we might even make it to the last 8. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, look, I mean, City have always got out of the group for quite a few years now, and I didn't think it was a tough. It's not as tough as a couple of the other groups. A couple of the groups are really look horrible. And from City's point of view, I think we'd look at it and say, I always say if you win all your home games, you should get through, and I think City will get through. And it is really, I think, probably between yourselves and Marseille, who finishes second. I'm leaning towards Porto, but Marseille, like any other team, you don't get into the Champions League unless you've done something well and you deserve to be there. So I think they could be quite tough as well. But I would be extremely disappointed if City didn't get out of the Champions League group stage, and I think that would be the end of Pep if City didn't even get out the Champions League group stage. No,
I think they're definitely going to get out. I think they're going to come out on top of this group. They might just have like that annoying draw here and there that there should have been a win kind of thing. I think the only difference right now is because of everything that's going on in the world. So Portugal is actually allowing fans back into the stadium for the European matches. So Porto's matches are actually going to have, I think it's 15 or 20% of capacity.
Yeah.
So we might just have a little bit of an advantage just by having the fans in the stadium because, well, you can't beat fans in the stadium. So I think that might just give us that little advantage there.
Yeah.
And it might make it a lot tougher for the other teams coming over to the Dragon.
Yeah. But I guess it's just home fans, no away fans allowed.
Yeah, home fans. Yeah.
And because it's only 15 or 20,000, tickets are going to be extremely difficult to get hold of.
Yeah. But the people that are going to be in there are going to be very, very loud.
Yeah. It's a good reason for me not to try and make that journey, because I've looked at these. I looked at when the draw came, because I've been living in France, and I was thinking to go to the Marseille game, but there's no. I think in France there's no fans at grounds or the big games, and in France it's easier for me to get a ticket because I'm in France to get a ticket in the home end, so to speak. But in Portugal, there's no chance. I'm just thinking about myself here, but because it would be nice to go to some games. It's been a long time. I think the last game I went to was probably the 1st of March. So it's a long time.
It's a long time ago. The last one I went to was November last year when I was in Porto, and I just miss it so much. I just want to be back in the stadium.
Absolutely. So let's talk about some of the Porto players that City fans might have heard of or might not have heard of. Who do you think at the current Porto lineup City should be fearing the most? Who should we be worried about?
So there's one name that tops the list for me, which is Corona. I know adequate name, but he's on form. I mean, he's played some amazing matches. His goal against Sporting, if you haven't seen it, go on YouTube and watch it. His goal was really, really good. He's very skillful. He's very tricky. He can get into the area and very close to the keeper with just 2-3 touches. So I think that's going to be one to watch out for. So there's definitely him. I think the next one is Pepe. I mean, the guy is a tank.
Still going.
He's 37, and in the national team breaks last week, his matches against Spain and France. I mean, Mbappe couldn't go past him. He's just, there is no way past that guy. So I think he could prove very tough for City's players. I really hope we give Ruben Diaz a bad day at the office because of where he's come from. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Sarr coming in. Just I think he's got a lot of potential. I think it's great that we actually have him on loan, and potentially seeing Felipe Anderson coming in. He's shown a lot of promise before, and I think he really wants to show that he's worth the amount of money that West Ham have paid for him. And no better place to do that than actually showcasing his skills in the Champions League.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a few good ones, and then there's a few other ones like Luis Diaz. He's very tricky. He's really, really good. Manafá is very, very fast. So going down the right. So that could be whoever's on that side is going to have to be on full speed because this guy is extremely, extremely fast. But yeah, I think I was actually going to ask you, who do you think Porto should fear? Because there is quite a lot of players that could cause us some issues.
I think it depends on who Pep's going to pick. Obviously, we've been unlucky with the injuries this season. We started with 7 players out for our first game, and even if you go further back, our last Champions League game was in, I think, like the 15th of August 15th of August. And we've not had a lot of break. We've had about 4.5, 5 weeks. In that time, players have got to go away and have a rest, come back for pre-season, and then they had to go even before the season started away with the international sides. So we've really had a really bad summer. And then we had, I think, 4 injuries and 3 guys out with COVID who tested positive. And even now, Aguero's just come back. Kevin De Bruyne, he's out. Laporte, I think he's out. Mendy, he's out, but that's probably good news, the way he's been playing this season. And then who else was it? Gabby J. I think we've still got a few people out, which is a bit of a concern. I think that we've got 4 out, 3 or 4. And KDB, obviously, is a guy we're going to miss. But who's left that you should fear? Who's on? I mean, I'm trying to think who's on form. Bernardo Silva looks like he's coming back to the level he was a season and a half ago. I mean, in that formidable season where we won all the domestic trophies in England, he was outstanding. He was, I think he was voted player of the season for Man City. And it was a real shame and a disservice that he wasn't player of the season in England for the whole Premier League, because City won all the domestic trophies. He was the best player, ergo he should be player of the season. But it went to was it Van Dijk, and then on top of that, he went off and did his tricks in the Nations League as well. So he was a player of that tournament. So to get last season, he felt like he fell off the level he was the previous season. And the last game, though, it looks like he's coming back to that level again. He ran, I think, with the ball at least twice the distance of the next guy running with the ball. So, on his own, I mean, he probably did it on his own. He equaled the next two guys, or very close to that. So he did phenomenal amount of running with the ball. So he was holding and protecting it. He had energy to burn. That's what we want and we need and expect from him. So I think he's looking good. Defense, Diaz is looking a good purchase. Nathan Ake is looking a good purchase as well. Walker, he's looked quite decent going forwards, but he's vulnerable. Defensively, he switches off. He switched off far too often this season. Sterling, I think he'll always cause trouble with his pace. So there's a few out there that I think will cause you trouble. Foden, I think he's got a little bit about him as well. So there's 4 or 5, I think, that have had a decent start to our season.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually on my list was definitely Bernardo, because the past few matches, the Nations League qualifiers, he was really good, and I mean, I think he scored 1 or 2 goals, and I think he's definitely getting his form back.
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting to see. I didn't realize De Bruyne wasn't going to play, so that's a bonus for me.
yeah. I mean, it's a shame because obviously he's one of the best players in the world, our best player, and to lose Laporte, I think he's going to be out. I think Pep said he's out for when he was discussing it last week. He said games, so that's plural. Some City fans think Laporte will be playing, but if Pep's talking the plural, I'm thinking he's going to be out as well, which is another shame. Aguero, I think it's fortunate that he's only just come back after 4 months out. So he played 65 minutes against Arsenal. He needs more time, more minutes on the pitch. So it's going to be interesting. But on the other hand, we're lucky as well that we've got so many games, and even the international games, that our players are starting to get fitter. It was noticeable in the first few games against Wolves, Leeds, and Leicester. We were on fire the first 20 or 30 minutes. We were really, really good, and it looked like we could overwhelm those teams. And then we ran out of gas. And I think that's a lot to do with not having a proper rest over the summer, not having a pre-season. KDB, I think Pep said, he's had no rest, no pre-season. He's got a new baby. He's, and when you start playing players every 3 or 4 days, you're going to get injured. So it's a shame for us, but as Pep keeps saying, it is what it is. You can't do anything about it. There's no point moaning about it. You just have to get on with it,
Yeah, I agree. I think, I mean, I don't like to use it. It's unprecedented times. I mean, most teams they're having to adapt very quickly. I think we've seen this with Porto as well. I mean, it was the first preseason where we didn't even get to watch any preseason games.
Yeah,
there's nothing. We just saw the scores on the newspapers and on the socials, etc. So when they came to the first match, they were playing well, but the other teams weren't playing great. So that's why we were scoring. And then now everyone's starting to get up to pace, and the fragilities are starting to show. So there's a long road for, I think, pretty much every single football team at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. When you talk about the unprecedented times, I mean, obviously the situation in England, where if the games are, obviously they were showing all the games, and they're making them. If you had a Sky or BT or whatever, they were showing them. Basically, you could get to watch all the Premier League games. Maybe you needed 2 sets at times, but now they put this £15 pay-per-view in. First of all, I mean, what do you think about that? And second, how do Portugal deal with this situation with their TVs?
Yeah, so I'll go with Portugal because in Portugal, it's pretty much every single football match is shown on. It's on paid channels. So
Yeah.
unless you've got, I think in Portugal it's the Sport TV and there's a new one. I can't remember what they're called, but basically you have to pay. So people just have the subscriptions. I mean, Benfica they have their own TV channel, so a lot of the matches they show on their own TV channel. So people are just used to paying to watch this. So there's not been much change. The prices have pretty much stay the same, even though there haven't been that many matches on TV.
Yeah.
They haven't changed the prices. So in Portugal, not much change. In England, I mean, for me, I think it's just it's. I'm trying to think of how to say this without swearing, but
It's difficult.
it's not good. These clubs have so much money. They spend so much money on players. They spend so much money on all sorts of things. Their advertising deals. I mean, I think Man City's advertising deals are probably worth more than Porto's last 20 seasons put together.
Yeah.
Why are we charging fans in a time like this?
I think it's more to do with the TV companies because they came to the Premier League, the clubs, and said, because obviously it's the TV companies who are putting it out there. They said, we'll give you the option. You can either we'll charge £15 a game, £14.95 a game, or we don't show those games. Make a decision. And it feels like the clubs have said, well, if we say we won't show them, then our fans have got no choices whatsoever. So at least we're giving them a choice. But the choice is a nice one. You know, you're caught between a rock and a hard place. Either you don't watch it or you pay 15 quid. And you got some fans who are saying, I can't remember now, which some clubs, City are different. We haven't charged the fans anything to retain our season cards. But some clubs have said, I think someone said they had to pay £70 just to retain. You know, that's not go to any games. I'm paying £80 a month for Sky, £20 a month for BT, £70 to keep my season ticket, and I can't watch my team play without paying an extra 15 quid. I think that's the issue. And it's wrong. What would you have said was a decent price? For instance, there's a game, was it yesterday? Was it West Brom versus, I can't remember who they played now, West Brom last night. Was it Burnley or whoever? You wouldn't have paid 15 quid for that unless you were one of their supporters. But if that, at what price would you have paid to watch West Brom versus Burnley?
Honestly, probably nothing. But I mean, I think if they want to make football accessible again, maybe drop it down to, I don't know, a £5 or something like that, just to bring the mass back into actually watching the matches. Because if they have to charge, I think they should keep the charge to a minimum. I mean, I think they should really, in an ideal world, subsidize some of the fans that have season tickets. I think that would be the fairest way to do it. But football and money, it's not
about money. I mean, the way City did it last season, when it came back, they allowed us season card holders. I think it was 2 Now TV passes. And it was Now TV doing it. Now TV wanted, obviously, people to get involved with them. People who had not watched them before or used that service. They wanted them to actually engage with them. So you got 2 free passes. And that was quite good for me because I've got 2 kids. They got season cards. So we ended up with 6 passes. I think that was almost enough to watch the remaining 10 games. I think one was on Prime, BBC, whatever. So we got by that way. But there should be something better for the fans.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's really thought about the fans, which is it's something that happens more often than not. I think the only place in Europe where people actually really think about the fans is probably Germany, because they have no choice. Most of the clubs are fan owned. But yeah, I don't think it's a fair thing to do. And hopefully, fingers crossed, someone wakes up and goes, "All right, guys, what the hell are we doing here?"
Sadly, when money's involved,
I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah.
When money's involved, they just want to make more and more, and they don't look at the long-term implications, because people are going away from football and charging 15 quid for a game. People are saying, "Where can I get an illegal stream? I'm not paying that, or I'm just not going to watch." That's it. If you're going to try and screw me a little bit more, I'm not interested. Let's finish this off then, Sam. We haven't done a score prediction, so I'm going to get a score prediction from you.
Cool. Well, so I definitely think there's going to be quite a few goals. None of the teams are particularly defending very well at the moment, but we're also very, very attacking teams. I don't think we're going to just stay back and watch City play. I think we're actually going to take the ball forward and take it to City. So putting in mind that Porto hasn't won a match in England in 50 years, and
that's
so historically it's not great for us. I reckon with a little bit of luck we'll get a point. So I'm going to say 2-2.
Okay. I think you'll score. I say this for most teams. You'll get enough chances to score. It's whether you take them, and you'll get enough chances to score at least 2 goals. But obviously, got to side with City. I'm going to go. I don't want it to be close. I think it might be 2-1, but I'm going to have to go 3-1. I just hope that in the first 20, 30 minutes we do our usual stuff, and this time, if we go 2 goals up, I think that's the game for us. But the longer we leave you in it, the more difficult it becomes for us. And then if you do score, then I can see you scoring a second goal, and that's what concerns me. But I'm going to go 3-1 to City, and I just think we'll have too much going forwards overall for you guys to handle. But as I said, you scored 12 goals this season in 4 games, so that's got to be something we have to be wary of.
I think if we get the tactics right with our fullbacks, I reckon it's going to be a lot harder to go past us, because, like I said, you've got Pepe in the middle. In Pepe we trust, and he will make life harder. I'm going to stick with my 2-2, taking a point away from England, taking a point from City. I think that'll set us on a good.
Yeah. Well, I think if you get that, I think if you can get a point out of City, I think that'll set you on a good start to qualify from this competition, from this group. Got to say, Sam, massive thanks for coming on and doing this preview with us, and for the rest of the campaign in the Champions League.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and good luck. We'll see you on the pitch. I can't wait to listen to that Champions League anthem blasting off.
We don't like the Champions League anthem. It'll be that's the last thing I'll say. It's a shame that the fans out there, because we'd still be booing that Champions League anthem. I don't think we're ever going to stop now after what's happened to us. But
I just miss it. I was brought up listening to it, and then last season we did not have it, so I'm like, I just can't wait for it to happen now.
Yeah, no worries, man. You take care, and thanks so much for coming on, Sam.
Thank you very much. All right.
Cheers.
All right.